record overall in the National League, which, of course, would give you home field throughout the playoffs. They got some bad but good news today on Tony Gwynn. Let me explain. He hurt his thumb last night in his first at-bat, the one he hit the home run on. They had MRI on it today. They found out it was a strained thumb, but not a broken part of his thumb. Out 7 to 10 days. If it was broken, he would have been out for the entire season. Nevertheless, he's out. Other guys are hurt. They're not playing well. Do you worry about home field, or do you worry about going to the postseason well?
They have to be healthy. We talked to Bruce Bochy before the game. That's his main concern. He would rather have a healthy club and play on the road somewhere in the playoffs than have 4 or 5 guys out and play at home. Joyner's back. That's key. He's got to play the rest of the way. Kennedy's in the lineup doing well. They both missed 55 games this year, and that's been a lot of games. So they have to stay in the lineup the rest of the way.
Well, Joyner is playing for the first time in, 7 games? So there's a shot in the arm, if you will, for the NL West leading Padres. Our playoff pursuit continues. Barry Bonds and the Giants are hoping to make it 2 straight years into postseason. Stay with us.
The original aviators, they were resourceful, determined to get the job done. Sound familiar? Well, you're today's aviators at TWA.
He was having an MRI as a result of this. Here's a swing which, oddly enough, was before he hit a home run. Later on, he stayed in the game for 2 more. This is the home run, the next pitch. But his thumb, as Kevin, you explained that rollover theory, Ted Williams, etc., couple more at-bats. He hurt his thumb, took himself out of the lineup where it was hurting. So he will not win a batting title. He will not make number 9 unless everybody else goes 0 for the rest of the season. But the good news is, in 10 days, he will be back for the Padres, maybe before that. Again, if it was broken, he was going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks, which, i.e., the season. So bad news, but good news for Bruce Bochy. And they were nervous when we got to batting practice at about 4 o'clock this afternoon. The Giants' next tell lineup for Dusty Baker, and there's several changes because of the left-hander Hitchcock going for San Diego. San Javier leads off in center field. The red-hot Marvin Bernard will sit. Ellis Burks moves to right field and hits second. Barry U.S. Bonds, of course, hitting third. And the NL Player of the Week, why not? He got on base 15 straight times. That streak was ended Friday night in L.A. That set a new National League record, breaking the old mark by Pedro Guerrero of the Dodgers. Jeff Kent hit a 3-run homer on Monday night, hitting 4th. Charlie Hayes is at 3rd, hitting 5th. Joe Carter is at 1st for J.T. Snow, hitting 6th. Rich Aureli at short, hitting 7th. Brian Johnson, the one-time Padre, 8th. Shawn Estes, 9th. Against the left-handed pitcher, Sterling Hitchcock presents.
24th consecutive start for Sterling Hitchcock. He's got his personal catcher back there tonight, former New York Yankee catcher Jimmy Leyritz, and he's by request. They work together very, very well. What Jimmy Leyritz likes to do with Hitchcock is throw that cutter, first pitch cutter, in on the right-handed hitters. Hitchcock has about an 87, 88-mile-an-hour fastball with some sink to it. Mix in a curveball. Got a very, very good split-fingered fastball that when he gets 2 strikes to the righties, he'll go back outside with.
Sterling Hitchcock in his 2nd season here with San Diego. Last year when he came over to San Diego in the trade from Seattle, it meant Yankees, Seattle, San Diego. So it's 3 teams in 3 years, and that's tough. This is his 2nd season, and he can be very good as he works to the leadoff hitter Stan Javier. 72 degrees here in San Diego. A beautiful day, a little more humid than you're accustomed to out here in September. Yet when you check into the Hotel California, you know. You can check it anytime you like, but you can never leave. Glad you could be with us. If you're on the East Coast, kick back and relax. 2 teams that may be headed for the postseason, although the Mets and Cubs may disagree with the fact that the Giants might make it. It's a good finish brewing in the NL West. Hitchcock, a couple of starts ago against Montreal, was overpowered. He not only set his career best for strikeouts with 15 Ks, he tied a San Diego team record for most strikeouts by a starter. Clay Kirby and Fred Norman, and now Sterling Hitchcock with 15 strikeouts in 1 game. Javier fouls it up. The bad news in that game, he lost it 3-1. Vladimir Guerrero hit a home run off him in that game in Montreal, but that was just 2 starts ago, Kevin. His last start at Colorado, he was cuffed around but got no decision. 4 2/3, 8 hits, 5 runs. So at times he's been very good. Other times they're not sure. He may be pitching for a 3rd starting spot in the playoffs. Base hit to the left side. So Javier begins the way Bernard did last night. It went 4 for 4. Base hit for Javier. Changed Padre defense tonight, Kevin, with Certainly with Barris already at second base.
Well, Varus is gone, but the key is Wally Joyner is back in the lineup tonight after missing 7 games, and he's an outstanding hitter as well as a solid defensive first baseman. So they've got to have his presence in the lineup. Sheets, of course, at second base. Ruben Rivera in right field for Tony Gwynn. Look at Wally Joyner. I wanted to mention that last pitch by Sterling Hitchcock. That was that cutter that Leyritz calls, and Javier drove it for a base hit to the left side.
Ellis Burks looks at a pitch inside. Ellis has been a major pickup here for the Giants in the trade with the. Frankly, the Giants traded one of their more popular players and a player Dusty Baker loved, Darrell Hamilton, to Colorado to get a little more pop, well, quite a bit more pop in the outfield.
Really needed it, too. They really need the right-handed bat to complement the left-handed Barry Bonds.
Burks hitting at an even 300 now on the year, but is hitting better than that as a Giant. Has really done a good job. Had a big 2-run double in the 2-run 8th inning. That an exciting game. But the Giants won 5-4 here on Monday night. And last night the Giants won 5-1 behind Kirk Reeder in the bullpen. Off-speed pitch, backhanded by Gomez. Just has time to get the lead runner as Sheets is there to take the throw. Javier's gone. Burks at first with 1 out.
Well, it was an off-speed 81 mile an hour. Looked like a changeup. Got Ellis Burks way out in front on. Rolled over this ball. See it outside. It's that top hand to roll over it. Great play by Gomez. Backhanding from the right knee and throws a strike. Well, not quite a strike. Second base for the Force, but in time. Fine play.
Here is Barry Bonds. And you know, again, hey, a quiet season for Barry, but 32 homers. 105 RBIs. His on-base percentage, because he's second only to Mark McGwire in walks. Second best in the majors. Behind McGwire.
Sweeping curveball. He's also got 23 stolen bases and plays left field as good as anybody in the game. And his year is kind of overshadowed by guys like McGwire and Sosa, I think.
A little bit.
Just a bit.
However, he may be going somewhere that even Mark is not, and that's postseason. He or Sosa will make it, the other will not. Good pitch by Hitchcock to get Bonds and go ahead of him 0-2. I asked Barry last night after the game, you know, what he was feeling when McGwire and he was watching it. And every player, and I'm sure it's the same everywhere in the bigs, they stop and watching it either during batting practice on the board every at bat. He was in the clubhouse at the time. He said, I'm so happy for him. And everybody, you know, feels that way, and as are we. And that will be the understatement of the year. We'll talk more about what McGwire has done and where he's going and what he stands for as the game goes on. I had a nice talk with Dave Stewart, a longtime teammate of his. We talk about that, but for Kevin and all of us at ESPN, Mark, congratulations to you.
Absolutely. It was fun to be there Monday night and see the 61st home run.
Mm-hmm. There goes the base runner, and Bonds will pop it. So Burks will have to hustle back as just in foul ground, Jim Leyritz makes the play. And there's 2 outs. Major league pop-up, Kevin.
Looked like Ellis Burks went first move. And the left-handed pitcher lifts that right leg up. Burks is guessing, and that's exactly what he did. He broke first move. As soon as that right leg is lifted, that's when Burks should go, and that's what he did. He guessed right. If he throws to first base, Burks is picked off, but he just guessed right. However, Bonds popped the 91 fastball straight up in the air.
Officially a fair ball if you're scoring at home, so it's a pop-out in fair ground. I'm not sure that you have all this. That'll bring up Jeff Kent. Kent's presence as I'm sorry, Kevin, is the number 4 spot in the lineup. When he was out in June, now that's not to say the Padres wouldn't have handled the Giants anyway, but the Giants came into San Diego on a Friday night in early June in a flat-footed tie for first base. They played 3 here and then 4 the next weekend in San Francisco. When it was done, the Padres had won 6 of 7, and they were gone. There goes the runner Burks. Good throw by Leyritz, or he snapped it off quickly, but it was high. Stolen base for Ellis Burks.
Well, Burks did the same thing. He stole that one off Hitchcock. Jimmy Leyritz did get rid of the ball quickly, but rushed himself a little bit to get it down there, and that's why the ball sailed on him. Burks was able to get in safely. Watch the right foot. As soon as he lifts that right foot, Burks is taking off. Straight steal, high pitch, quick release, but pushed the ball a little bit. And Andy Sheets had to leap to retrieve the ball.
So now the Giants with a runner in scoring position for the first time, and a 1-0 count to Jeff Kent. That pitch is in there for a strike. It's hard to say that Kent missed all those games, and Barry Bonds is the best player on the Giants, of course, but not having Kent behind him, Barry was struggling. The Padres came in and really rolled through the lineup. The Giants weren't hitting, and that opened it up, and the Padres were never headed after that.
Well, that's why they went out. The first trade they made was go out and get Joe Carter. Like the split finger fastball right there, 83 miles an hour. That's what he uses to get those strikeouts. When he struck out 15 Montreal Expos on August the 29th, that's the strikeout pitch for Hitchcock.
Well, you saw Rick Rieger, the umpire, at first base. Sam Holbrook is working the plate. Dana DeMuth is at second base. Jerry Lane, you're in my ear, you're in my eyes, is at third base. That's their umpiring crew tonight. Outside. Count is 3-1 to Kent. So what does he look at here?
Well, with Charlie Hayes, I think he's going to come right back with a split. There's no way you're going to throw him a fastball. And I wouldn't come with a cutter right here. Jimmy Leyritz likes to call that cutter on Hitchcock, but you've got a full power hitter like Jeff Kent. I just think you stay away from him and throw the split. If he chases it, fine. If not, there's a base open at first base. Kent's too hot right now.
28 homers, 110 RBIs for Kent. And here's a guy that missed a month. Fastball high.
Leyritz did come inside, but Hitchcock really didn't make a strong effort to throw a strike there.
So now 2 runners on for Charlie Hayes. Hayes getting the start tonight against the lefty Hitchcock. Billy Miller sits at third base. Hard to play much better third than Miller has in the series, and JT Snow has at first. However, neither in the lineup tonight. Their defensive plays accounted for 3 or 4 sparklers in the first 2 games here on Monday and Tuesday nights.
Well, one reason that Dusty Baker stacks the lineup with right-handers tonight, because Hitchcock gives up a lot of home runs. He's given up 27 this year, but 23 of those to right-handed hitters. And even though he's got the good change, the good split, he'll make some mistakes up in the zone. And that's what Dusty's looking for early in the game. Then later in the game, you'll see JT Snow come in and Miller for defense if they're ahead.
Certainly Snow at first base, without a question, for Carter. Outside again. So what would 2 or 3 runs mean to Estes before he walks to the hill?
Yeah, a lot.
I mean, to anybody, but I mean, in this spot.
I think we're going to see a sharper Estes tonight. He had 81 pitches Friday night. He's got great stuff. He's got an outstanding curveball and an outstanding changeup, a fastball in the low 90s. As Dusty Baker said, he just didn't have very good location the other night. Gave up a 3-run home run to Gruzelanek, and that really knocked him out.
2-0 pitch. Hayes was looking fastball, but he looked at it go inside 3-0. Do you green light him?
Absolutely. I do. I don't think you'll see anything close. I think you'll see something off speed again. But Leyritz, as I said, he likes to call that cutter, that cut fastball on the inside corner. But you're playing with danger there because there's no room for error. The umpire sets his head right between the catcher and the hitter, and if you miss, it's going to be a ball. If you throw a strike, it's hittable.
Took it. Hit the outside part of the plate. Strike 1.
Well, Charlie probably had the green light, but he did the right thing. That ball was on the outside corner. Good pitcher's pitch, and not something that Charlie Hayes could drive.
I don't want to talk about it,
Now the bases are full of Giants. Ball 4, low and away for the Sarge, Joe Carter, and pitching coach Dave Stewart. We're pleased with the way Hitchcock is trying to nibble unsuccessfully.
No, it'd be in 20 of the 24 starts that Hitchcock has performed so far this year, he's walked 2 men or less. So he doesn't walk many batters. He's only had 40 walks in 157 plus innings coming into this ball game. Outstanding control.
Joe Carter really struggled since he came over that last week in July from Baltimore. However, The last week or maybe 10 days, he has made his presence felt. A couple of big hits in the Montreal series, swinging a hot bat. And it's a situation where Dusty Baker wanted him in the lineup, didn't want him to sit. However, Carter not pleased with that as Hitchcock starts him with a strike. Joe with 392 lifetime home runs. He would have to go on a major last 2.5-week run to get to 400. He's not concerned with that, but this is it for Joe. So he's concerned with extending his 2.5 weeks, the final 2.5 weeks of the majors into the postseason in maybe 3, 4, 5 weeks. Because we do know that he's had a pretty good run in the postseason.
And he'd have to, yeah, he has. Yes, he has. A big home run with Toronto to win the World Series. About that, 10 grand slams, bases loaded.
Now, one thing on Joe, he has, like I said, 392 home runs. That is 30th all time. 27 have gotten to 400, including Mark McGwire and Barry Bonds this year. Good pitch by Hitchcock, which Carter again does not like, but now Sterling had 1 and 2.
Well, that's the pitch I'm talking about. Leyritz likes to call that fastball or that cutter on the inside corner, and if Hitchcock makes the pitch, which he did right on the black of the plate, Leyritz does a nice job of freezing it. He gets the call from home plate umpire Sam Holbrook. But you got to be careful going in there. If you miss out over the plate, the ball's gone.
Chopper wide of third, and we'll do it again at 1 and 2.
Came back with a split-fingered fastball right there. And Joe has always been a guy that's been a top-hand hitter, meaning he rolls over a lot of pitches. He pulls most pitches. Infield defense always plays him to pull. Caminiti shading the line. And if the ball gets down the line right now, it's probably 3 runs. So that's why Cammy's shading the line here. No doubles in this situation.
Burks at third, Kent at second, Hayes at first. Top of the first, the Giants trying to get something going with 2 outs. Inside, 2 and 2.
More of slider action right there. That wasn't the fastball. 86 miles an hour. A lot of pitches for Hitchcock. Yeah, as I mentioned, he's normally only walks 2 men per 9 innings. Like to have 12 to 15 pitch innings.
Gets Carter. And Joe strands 3. Big pitch by Hitchcock got him fishing. So the Giants strand 3. The Padres coming to bat.
Where'd you get the club?
Accounting.
County gave you a club?
Yeah, I made him a deal.
Deal?
Whenever my cell bills are half as much as yours, they give me a club.
Aren't you on the phone all the time?
Yeah, but I have Nextel. My calls are rounded to the second. I pay less.
It's not fair. I want to be rounded to the second.
This is out for a while with a shoulder injury suffered last night. So Andy Sheets batting second at second base. Caminiti hits third. Greg Vaughn with 47 home runs. Could it be 4 major leaguers with 50 this year? We've never before had 3, which we have right now. Jim Frito-Leyritz hitting 5th. Wally Joyner back after missing 7 games, hitting 6th. Ruben Rivera in right for Gwynn, hitting 7th. Chris Gomez is at short, hitting 8th. Sterling Hitchcock hitting 9th. Against last year's all-star pitcher and 19-game winner, but only second start back off the DL, Shawn Estes.
Well, Shawn went on the DL July 17th through September the 2nd with a left shoulder strain. Came back Friday night, pitched against the Dodgers, went 6 innings. Through 81 pitches, and Dusty Baker will have a mini pitch count on him tonight. If he can get to 90-95, that'll probably be about it for Shawn Estes.
Starts Finley off with a strike. Charlie Hayes just in on the grass at third base in case of a bunt. Finley, as good a year as the Padres have had, for the first 2 or 3 months, was really scuffling. I mean, he was hitting down 220 range. His average now, you know, he's had a good second half of the year to vault his average up to 248, which really means he's in the 280 range.
Part of it is he's been trying to hit the long ball. He's been lifting, pulling that front shoulder out a little too soon. Talked to some of the hitting guys down there on the field today. Well, years ago, Steve Finley was not a home run or a power hitter at all. He's come to San Diego and hit a lot of home runs the last couple of years. The fastball up that ties Finley up a little bit. Tried to get his hands inside that ball and couldn't get the extension to get through it. Shawn Estes, normally he's got a fastball in the low 90s when he's right. and an outstanding overhand curveball and a very, very good changeup.
Finley hits this one on the nose to right field. Back goes Bird. Score! We said Finley was swinging a good bat the second half of the season. He just showed you why.
And Dusty Baker talked about the lack of location on Shawn Estes' pitches Friday night. Watch this location. He misses in. That ball is up right over the plate. You see catcher Brian Johnson sitting down and away. That's just poor location. Had the right idea as far as the pitch, but he missed location middle in.
Andy Sheets playing second base because Kilby O'Veris injured his right shoulder, really sore. He'll be out a few days, and a smile from Steve Dorsal Finley as he's given the Padres a lead. Last night, Marvin Bernard hit a leadoff homer for the Giants.
There's better location right there. 90 fastball on the outside corner. It's a good sign.
It's a good omen. That means Jupiter is in line with Venus tonight for the Padres, or at least most of the time. Chopper to Rich Aureli at short. To Joe Carter, one down.
Well, two fastballs to Sheets, one away, one in, and that was good location from Shawn Estes. 90 miles an hour. But that's natural when you're out of the rotation for 6 weeks. Come back, you got to get the feel of your pitches again to have location, especially on your breaking ball, your breaking stuff, curveball and changeup. Those are field pitches.
Estes will now work to the MVP of 2 seasons ago, Ken Helmet Caminetti. Cammy, he's like a football player, Kevin. I mean, it's something. He's hurting every day somewhere else. He never talks about it. Takes his nap in the clubhouse about an hour before the game, so if it looks like he's kind of just waking up in the first inning, he is. But as much as he's been hurting, 28 homers, 81 RBIs, not quite the year that he had 2 years ago, but you know, with Gwynn out, I mean, here's your man. I know Greg Vaughn's been the MVP of this team this year, but they can get Caminetti going with what Vaughn's done, and Joyner comes back. I mean, I think a lot of weapons here on this team. The one thing they're not is young, however. Good pitch on the inside corner for a strike. There's Wally Joyner. He missed 4 games, tried to come back. Hurt himself. Missed the next 7. He's back tonight.
Well, velocity is good. 90 miles an hour. That's about where Shawn Estes tops out. He doesn't throw much harder than that.
There was an MVP of the pitcher staff, Kevin Brown.
Yeah, absolutely.
Joey behind him, Joey Hamilton. Down the right field line, but that'll be foul. And a nice one-hop grab made by a fan sitting down the right field side.
Well, San Francisco Giants talked about Charlie Hayes on the left side at third base in the lineup for Bill Miller. And on the right side, Joe Carter at first base. Normally a left fielder, right fielder. Doesn't see too much action over there, but as I mentioned, Dusty Baker wants the power bats in the lineup against the lefty Sterling Hitchcock.
Well, let's just work carefully to Caminetti and work too carefully. Cammy on first now with 1 out with a walk, and that'll bring up MVP candidate Greg Vaughn. I mean, this season really, I don't want to say came out of nowhere because he's been an all-star before with the Brewers, but his stay here in San Diego have been anything but tremendous. Almost traded a couple of times, of course. The most notable to the Yankees. He was traded, and then they said, well, wait a minute, he got a bad shoulder, and then we're going to send him back. The trade for Kenny Rogers just before the deadline last year, and well, sometimes the moves that don't happen are the best move. Genius.
Good backdoor curveball right there. Shawn Estes has a great overhand curve, and he nailed the outside corner.
47 home runs, 111 RBIs for Greg Vaughn on a .277 batting average. Estes knows those numbers.
Look, he's coming back with the curveball. Let's see. Yeah. Sharp biting curveball. Greg Vaughn gives a lot of credit to Tony Gwynn. He got very close to Tony this year. Pitch selection, working in spring training. The first thing he does in the morning, gets up, he calls Tony. They go to eat together, and he's really helping him as far as pitch selection. He gives credit, of course, to Merv Rettenman, their hitting coach. But one other thing. He hired an eye therapist this morning and studied the muscles of the eyes and eye twitch and fast twitch. And the idea of it all is to locate the baseball much quicker and just focus on the release point of the pitcher. So those three guys and those three things are the reason that Greg Vaughn gives credit, and playing every day. Four things, really.
Rip, but foul.
And other guys, Steve Finley, when he was struggling, same thing. Greg Vaughn got him into his eye therapist. Caminiti has.
Can we get that number?
It's too late for me.
We got to call the games. We at least got to see it, right? It didn't help you very much. Reaction time to put him down and then swing, I don't think it's good enough. Estes misses. 2-2 to Vaughn with Leyritz on deck. Caminiti at first, and one run already home, courtesy of a leadoff homer by Steve Finley. Chris Berman along with Kevin Kennedy here in San Diego for game 3 of this 3-game set between the NL West wild card hopefuls and the NL West leading Padres. Off speed, chop foul.
All right, another good curveball, 74 miles an hour. The curveball range is 74 to 76. His fastball at 90 to 91. Last one was a 74-mile curveball over the top. Big break to it. Greg got way out in front. Hand comes off the bat. He just got fooled on the pitch. It's because of the good arm speed that Shawn Estes has and the big drop that pitch has.
Tries the other way. Fouled off into the second deck. And the count remains at 2-2. Boy, this 3-way race for first place in the National League is really something. These teams,
well,
almost a dead heat.
Cubs and Mets win today.
Well, that one, the wild card. I mean, with Pods and Braves and Strohs. That's good stuff there.
It's all good. Well, I think the wild card makes that, though, because all these guys want best home record. There are certain teams that don't want to play the Mets. There are certain teams that don't want to play the Cubs. I know Atlanta, they don't want to face Houston.
No, nobody wants.
Who does?
You know, the talk with everybody. Houston's like the real unknown in this equation.
Not to the National League.
I mean, even though they were in there a year ago, I mean, I'm not saying it. They just seem to be much better. At any rate, that one bounces. Ball 4, and as Hitchcock did, walking 2 in the first inning. Now the same for Shawn Estes. Let's walk it over to Bill Pito, the judge. What do you have?
Chris, it's Toronto and Cleveland, 3-3 bottom, 12 bases loaded for Tony Fernandez, and he grounds out. Now, if Toronto can win, they'll cut the Red Sox lead to 3.5 in the AL wild card chase. Cleveland now threatening. We'll keep you posted.
Now, Kevin, you spent some time in Boston.
Yes, I did.
I have grown up there and have been accused of, well, in my younger days, of spending that $1 and sitting in the bleachers at Fenway.
You sent me a nice letter, by the way.
Well, but I know that. But I was saying this, supposing
panic.
3.5 back.
There's a little panic going on. I've talked to some people back there in the last couple of days, and of course, Timmy Johnson, I know extremely well. You know, one of the things with Toronto is they're just playing free and easy and relaxed. They get rid of Mike Stanley, they trade Randy Myers here to San Diego, and those young guys, Sean Green, Canseco, of course, the veteran, Clemens has got a chance for another Cy Young, playing great.
3.5, and the runner moves. Caminiti into third base. That's kind of a blind steal. I think he caught Estes napping.
That was off of Shawn Estes to lefty as soon as he picked up that right leg. Big leg kick. Easy to steal third base off a left-handed pitcher because he's got his back to you. It was that big leg kick. And Cammy just did that on his own, and that's why you didn't see Greg Vaughn move. Cammy just picked a spot there.
Great job by Ken Caminiti, who, you know, is not that fleet of foot. As a matter of fact, it's only his 6th stolen base of the year.
And he's had, as you mentioned, he's had a lot of injuries. He's had hamstring problems on both hamstrings this year, but he just plays all out when he's in the lineup.
Well, here's a guy that can definitely hit the fly ball. Instead, Leyritz bounces one. Hayes will have to go across the diamond to first. And that stolen base by Caminiti results in the second Padre run of the inning. 2-0 San Diego.
Well, that's what we mentioned about in the open. That Caminiti and Joyner really have to help lead the way, especially with Gwynn out 7 to 10 days. Well, Caminiti, hurt or not, he's going to play 100%. That's the only way he knows how to play. Yeah, that's a big run because San Francisco's played well against San Diego here. Get a couple of runs off Shawn Estes early.
Tell you what, I watched Caminiti steal the base. He looked all right, but coming home, I mean, you saw him go right down the run. He looks like he is gimping, doesn't he?
Well, he's been hurt all year.
No, I know. Here is Wally Joyner with a runner in scoring position and swings and misses. But he, you know, in running the bases, was it last night or Monday night? I think it was Monday night. He grabbed something. However, you know, didn't affect anything, but as he went from first to third, I think, at one point.
Yeah, Bruce Bochy worries about that all the time because he knows that's the only way Cammy's going to play.
Well, this is a big lift with Wally Joyner being back in the lineup for San Diego. You know, 2 years ago, Kevin, he went out for a while, and that was the one dip they had in the NL West. He's so much more of a valuable player. Well, Bruce Bochy knows, but he gets overlooked. Caminiti in the year Vaughn's having a, needless to say, you know, perennial batting champion Tony Gwynn. Finley crashing into walls. Oh, by the way, they have Wally Joyner. And this time, look at Vaughn going.
That's off of Estes. Estes is not even really looking at the runner at second base. He's just trying to lock in at home plate and get his stuff down. One look, as soon as the head turns, he picks up the leg and goes home.
That's brutal.
He's in a pattern, and the runners have picked that up, obviously. Dusty Baker and Ron Perinaski are not pleased at all, obviously. Brian Johnson and that little talk about that. Got to give him a double look. You can't just look back there one time and then turn your head and go to home plate and get in that kind of pattern, because the runners will do exactly what Caminiti and Vaughn have done. They'll steal the base on you.
Shawn's either thinking too much just about the pitching or not thinking enough,
He's
right?
just worried right now about making pitches, and that's why he's not worried about the base runners.
He is ahead of Joyner 0-2. 2 runs already home for San Diego here in the first. Off speed, little broken batter. Will be gobbled up by Kent. Over to Carter, and Joyner is gone. A runner is stranded at second. But San Diego did what the Giants couldn't do in the first, and that's come through. Starting with leadoff homer for Steve Finley after 1 here at the Murph. 2-0 Padres.
My heart is on ice. What is the price of passion?
NHL Center Ice.
Cool.
Right now, the price of passion is only $119 when you call 1-800-GET-SPORT and order NHL Center Ice on DirecTV Sports. Get up to 30 out-of-market games every week, including the best Canadian matchups. Call 1-800-GET-SPORT and let the coolest game on earth keep your heart on ice.
When you want to see action, when you want to see comedy, when you want to see passion, when you want to see hits, just take a look at DirecTV and what you'll see in September. Tommy Lee Jones.
Yes, I am.
Wesley Snipes. U.S. Marshals. Sharon Stone.
There's something up here.
Dustin Hoffman. Sphere. Randy Quaid. Morgan Freeman. Christian Slater. Hard Rain. Ethan Hawke. Gwyneth Paltrow. Great Expectations. Drew Barrymore. Adam Sandler. The Wedding Singer. Pam Grier. Bridget Fonda. Samuel L. Jackson. Robert Forster. Robert De Niro.
Yes or no? Is she dead? Pretty much.
Quentin Tarantino's Jackie Brown. When it comes to hits, you don't have to look farther than your remote control. See the difference this month on DirecTV.
Except no substitutes.
Thursday night football. Wake Forest has an offense with the ability to score at any moment, led by quarterback Brian Cookman.
And they'll test their skills against Navy. Thursday game night at 7:30. Navy versus Wake Forest tomorrow at 8 on ESPN.
Phil Pito in the studio. Indians, Jays, top of the 13th, all tied at 3. 2 on for Travis Fryman, and there it goes. A 3-run home run makes it 6-3. So the Jays, their 11-game winning streak in jeopardy. They may not pick up a game on Boston. Chris, how much time, please?
Well, that's what they needed in Boston, Kevin.
They're watching.
A home run by Cleveland.
Me.
They are watching. All right, Billy, thank you for what you have as the situation develops in Toronto. Well, you can't win. You can't win every game to the end of the season. They've won, what, 11 in a row?
Yeah, they've had a 22-7 stretch also. That's tough.
So pitching with a 2-run lead now here in the second inning. Sterling Hitchcock will work to Rich Aurelia, Brian Johnson, and Shawn Estes. 7, 8, 9 in the order. Aurelia, for a shortstop, has more pop than most. Hits to his counterpart, Chris Gomez. A long throw to Joyner. 1 up, 1 down here in the second.
A couple nice plays so far from Chris Gomez, going to his right on a backdoor breaking ball from Hitchcock. Aurelia rolls it to the left side.
Number 18, Ryan
Gomez throws a strike.
You know, they said all year, especially with the trading deadline, but the Padres need another shortstop. They need to make a trade. They're pretty happy with the way he's played. You know, he's not hitting. He's not Barry Larkin.
And he's in the lineup every day. 131
A-Rod or Garcia Perez or Jeter.
No. He's on a pennant-winning team that's going to win the West. And he's played 131 ball games.
Brian Johnson was one of the catchers here 2 years ago when the Padres won the National League West. Caught 2 of the 3 postseason games in which they were swept in 3 by the Cardinals. He and John Flaherty were the catchers, but you know, he was traveled. Then he went to Detroit. Then the Giants got him from there. But he arrived in the middle of last season, and of all the moves Brian Sabean made, and the much ballyhooed Roberto Hernandez and Wilson Alvarez trade, what Johnson did in the month of September last year was as big as any player did in 1 month for them all year. Nice play by Andy Sheets to rob Brian of a base hit. So 2 outs here for the Giants, and a nice play by Sheets. And we are so ecstatic this year on ESPN to have all of the Sunday night football games. That means week 2 after NFL primetime at 8:15 Eastern. Drew Bledsoe and the Patriots, their home opener in Foxborough against Peyton Manning and the Indianapolis Colts. Then on Monday Night Football, we begin it in Baltimore and then send you out to Jack Kent Cooke Stadium for Steve Young and the Niners against the Washington Redskins in their home opener. So football on prime time, it's on ESPN or ABC. We got you covered. Estes a pretty good hitter. You can see 216 lifetime. That was this year 216, but last season Shawn hit 147, including a home run, so he can handle the bat a little bit.
Only had 37 at bats. He's got 8 base hits, 8 sacrifice bunts.
He can run. He's often been used as a pinch runner, although I don't think that will be the case in September this year. But last year, Dusty used him as a pinch run on occasion.
Pretty good fastball from Hitchcock, outside corner. Split.
Now, what a different inning this has been for Sterling Hitchcock. 2 ground ball outs and a strikeout. So pitching with a 2-run lead, Hitchcock presents. San Diego still leads at 2-0.
Race is heating up. Step up to the plate and play the Pepsi Major League Baseball Home Run Countdown. Go to in-store Pepsi displays, fill out an entry form, and if you guess the 98 Home Run Champions total, you'll be entered to win a trip aboard to this year's World Series.
What's she got in mind for me now? Whoa! Take it easy there. Yes, if the stain is going to come off this paint, keep scrubbing, lady. Keep scrubbing.
Only your Sherwin-Williams store has a truly washable flat latex. Sherwin-Williams EverClean.
Now that's smooth, baby. Yeah.
When only the best will do. Ask Sherwin-Williams.
Who is 0 for 1 tonight, is second at bat here in the 4th. Down the left field line, is it enough? Gone! There it is! 62! You are the new single-season home run king! You will always know where you were at 8:18 p.m. Central Time, September 8th, 1998.
ESPN Wednesday Night Baseball is brought to you by Firestone and your neighborhood Firestone retailers with over 1,500 locations.
2-0, the Padres over the Giants as we at the bottom of the second with 7-8-9 for San Diego. Ruben Rivera, Chris Gomez, Sterling Hitchcock against Shawn Estes, who last year won 19 games in his first full year in the majors. 19-5, which was second best in the National League. This year, though, a different story. As we've told you, he was on the DL for really 2 months. Out from the 10th of July. That was his last start until last Friday night. And they're just hoping to, they know he's not going to be in the form that won 19 games, but a literal shot in the arm, as we said at the beginning. And if he can, not so much a workhorse, Kevin, but have some power. You know, starting pitching is a question with the Giants. Kirk Reeder has a sore elbow. He aggravated it a little bit last night. He may miss, if not a turn, they may jerry-rig the rotation a little bit. The Giants have a day off tomorrow. They're not sure they're going to play it. They could move him back 2 or 3 days. He'll miss a half a turn. Mark Gardner has pitched very well. Oral Hershiser, really, his second half of the year has not been tremendous. I mean, Oral is a great competitor, as we all know. And they're going with young Russ Ortiz. The best pitcher the Giants have had has been Mark Gardner, who, again, on Sunday night was excellent in Los Angeles. He has had a great record after the Giants have lost. You know, this is not, you think of the other teams, though, who may be in the postseason, as the count is 1-2 to Ruben Rivera. Houston opens up with Randy Johnson. San Diego opens up with Kevin Brown. Atlanta opens up with Maddox Glavin Smoltz. And the Giants have, you know, Herding Estes, a Reeder, who's probably their best pitcher this year overall. Mark Gardner, you know, pales by comparison.
Well, with 17 games left, he has time to get himself in shape. The key is, can the Giants catch the Cubs and the Mets? They're only a game and a half out going into this game. This is a big game for the Giants. They all are now at this point in the season. Shawn Estes is fastball.
One thing the Giants have, and we can talk about this all night, is you could go nuts looking at schedule, because every time you say, oh, they have an easier schedule, it's foolish. However, after this game tonight, the Giants no longer play any teams with a winning record. Ground ball in the hole that Aurelio will have to make a long off-balance throw. Oh, look at the Sarge make the scoop. But the good speed by Rivera beats it out. It's going to be a tough throw for Aurelio. He just couldn't get the weight behind.
It's like a little cut fastball or slider from Shawn Estes. Rivera got out in front of it and rolled it to the right of Aurelio. I mean, a nice play going across his body. Really had to throw on the run. He didn't have time to set up because Rivera runs very, very well. And Carter made a nice play to scoop it, but Rivera beats the play. Not much more you can do there, Rich. It was a nice play.
Let me just complete the thought as the Padres now trying to add to that 2-0 lead with Chris Gomez, who undoubtedly will be squaring a bunt. As Hayes about to cheat in on the grass, and just like I said, he's swinging away.
Well, he got the pitcher on deck. That's why he's not bunting.
So what? He should do it anyway. He should have. He popped it out. I don't know why he wasn't, but this is my little call to Bochy, and so there is one out. Here is Hitchcock coming up. The Giants play no teams with winning records after tonight. They have a day off tomorrow, and they go home to Colorado. They later on in the season have a homestand against the Dodgers, who, of course, would love to knock the Giants out of the picture. And 4 home against Pittsburgh. They play 3 at Arizona and 3 at Colorado to finish. Here's the pitcher who will definitely bunt. The Mets have 4 away at Houston and 3 away at Atlanta left. Although, to the Mets' credit, they won 3 of 4 from the Braves at Shea, which was very impressive. The Mets also play at Philly tomorrow night. They have Montreal. They have Florida, Montreal at home. But the point is they have 7 on the road at first-place squads. Good bunt. Estes will go over to Kent covering, and now Rivera is at second base with 2 outs. The Cubs, just to complete this point here, they have 4 here at San Diego, and they have 3 at Houston, in addition to home and home with Milwaukee, home to Pittsburgh, and home to Cincy. The point is, you know, both of these teams, the Cubs and the Mets, seem to have a tougher schedule, but you can get caught looking at that if you're the Giants. That's very dangerous.
That's just the way the cards play out. That's just the way it is. I mean, every game's important right now. You just can't let any game slip away. Whether, you know, they're playing Houston and San Diego at the end of the season, or the Cubs are. Yeah, they have a tougher schedule. They're playing 2 division leaders, no doubt, but you can't worry about it. Be thankful you're in the race this long and do the best you can.
Padres, as a matter of fact, just conversely to talk about them, they're home for 2 straight weeks. 3 games against San Francisco, then 4 against L.A., 4 against the Cubs, and 3 against Colorado.
Although I will say those 3 against Houston, you do hope you don't have Randy Johnson in one of them. You might get lucky.
That's right. Yeah, 3 out of 5 chance. I mean, a 2 out of 5 chance that you miss him.
1995 in Boston, we didn't see Randy all year. Not once.
That's good managing, Kevin.
It wasn't planned that way.
Very good managing.
A little bit lucky, too.
Finley, who homered, chops it to Joe Carter. And Joe will make the play himself, and a runner is stranded at second base. The Giants trailing 2-0 have Barry Bonds hitting third when we come back.
Did you send someone to college today? What if you did? How can Bank of America help with the next 4 years? Bank of America. Put their future in motion.
My idea, Best Buy should have Bill Gates be their spokesman.
Howdy, I'm Bill Gates. Best Buy is a complete computer store with software, SCSIs and zips, memory chips, upgrade guys, howdy, and computers too.
Tell Bill Gates sent you.
What'd you think?
That's not Bill Gates.
That is Bill Gates. He's from Lufkin.
Not from Seattle.
No.
The complete computer store at Best Buy. Now that's a great idea.
Introducing the amazing power of new Duracell Ultra.
Mike's towing. Please hold. Towing. Can I help you?
Hey, could you put me back on hold?
New Duracell Ultra. More power, more life.
When you buy a set of split-fire spark plugs, you get the same technology that ignites Jim Yates, NHRA Winston Pro Stock champion, through quarter-mile in under 7 seconds. The legendary split-fire Performance V spark plug, because performance is everything. Parachute sold separately.
Did you think about expanding your business today? What if you did? How can Bank of America help you make it happen? Bank of America. Put your future in motion.
Bill Pito in the studio. Texas won tonight, so Anaheim needs to win to stay 2 games in front of the Rangers in the AL West against Minnesota. Matt Lawton in the first inning. Solo shot his 18th. Ken Hill came out in the second after getting hit in the pitching hand with a line drive. It's 2-0 Twins right now in the bottom of the second.
All right, Billy, thank you. Boy, Ken Hill leaving the game. They just got him back, Anaheim. That's going to be a good race to the finish. You know, they have, what, 5 games left. They have, I believe, 2 in Texas next week, and then the last week of the season, 3 in Anaheim, head-to-head, which is the way you want a division race. It's the only division race going.
Also missing Darren Erstad.
Oh, well, that's brutal. That is brutal. Sterling Hitchcock working to the top of the order here. Stan Javier had a base hit his first time up. A little chopper to Chris Gomez. 1 up, 1 down, 1 pitch for Hitchcock. Let me just apologize to Glenn Hoffman and the Dodgers. They are above 500 by 1 game. So I lied. The Giants do play a team above 500. But basically, there's a bunch of numbers here. And unless you're not playing Keno, let me explain what you're looking at. The Giants have more home games left than the Cubs or Mets. And they play less good teams than the Cubs or Mets. That being said, they're in 3rd place. So
I like that home 10 games at home.
They have not been great at home this year. They have not used Candlestick the way they should.
Time is
for
now.
Whatever reason. For whatever reason. Whereas the Padres have been great in this yard. I mean, they've been as good as they've ever been.
49-20.
Best home record in the National League. 1 better than Houston. A couple better than the Braves. The only team in the majors with a better home record than the Padres is the Yankees. But then again, you know, their record on the moon is better than everybody.
Yes, Bruce Bochy says, hey, our importance is to get healthy, get everybody back in the lineup. I'd rather be healthy playing on the road for the playoffs than miss 2 or 3 guys and play at home.
Again, if you weren't with us at the beginning, Bruce Bochy got some bad but good news on Tony Gwynn. Bad news, Tony is out 7 to 10 days with a thumb sprain. Good news is, until about 6 o'clock this evening, they were afraid that he could be out for the rest of the season, including the postseason, if there was a new little break. An MRI this morning showed a chip or a break in his thumb. They had another MRI, and they realized that was one that he had already broken in the past. That's why the line was there, but it was healed. I mean, I don't want to get any more medical than that. I've got the whole release and I can read it to you, but you know, it is late in the East and I don't want to lose everybody back there. Meanwhile, Hitchcock has struck out Ellis Burks, and you know, since that first inning, he has really settled down. That now Kevin is 6 in a row retired for him.
6 in a row, and 3 of them strikeouts and 3 ground ball outs. So they have not hit the ball out of the infield. Really, they haven't hit it out of the infield the whole game. Javier hit a ground ball base hit. That's it, to left field. The one fly ball was a pop up to the catcher by Barry Bonds in the first. So Hitchcock so far is on his game.
Padres, Shade, Bonds obviously way around. A couple teams have put the 3 fielders to the right occasionally on Barry, although you don't see it that much.
Right.
I mean, is that how you? I mean, Gomez
is
just a couple of strides to the left field.
Yeah, really, you could put
base.
Gomez right up the middle. You could put him right behind second base and up the middle.
Of course, with nobody on, you totally play it differently. Needless to say.
I mean, if Barry Bonds is a pull power hitter, obviously we all know that. Hits very few ground balls to the left side. If he hits a ground ball to the left side, he's doing you a favor. So he's still going to hit the way he hits, and most of the time he hits it right through the infielders.
As we told you, he reached base 15 straight times this past week, which is a National League record, breaking the old mark by Pedro Guerrero. The Major League record was 16. San Diego native Ted Williams, 1957. That was the year Ted was flirting with 400, and he was what, almost 40 years old, right? 57.
Yes.
Unbelievable. That may have been one of the best batting seasons by anyone at any time.
I think so. I mean, 16 straight plate appearances on base.
No, but I mean, just that season, flirting with 400, and he's almost 40.
I wish I could have seen him in his prime. One of the best players I've ever seen in my time as a fan, Willie Mays. Back in the 60s. Just phenomenal. Could do everything.
That's why many people my generation grew up rooting for the Giants, because of Willie Mays.
Big curveball. Holbrook wanted to call it, Sam Holbrook, but he did not.
Bonds will walk to first. Let's walk it to the judge.
All right, Chris, you want a dicey night? How about Alex Gonzalez? 0 for 6, tying a Major League record with 6 strikeouts. The Indians snapped the Blue Jays' winning streak at 11. Toronto remains 4.5 games behind Boston in the wild card race. 6-3 the final.
Billy and Kevin, I got to ask you something. I was always told 3 strikeouts were the silver sombrero. 4 was the golden sombrero. 5 was the platinum sombrero. I was never told what 6 was.
I never got up 6 times in a game. I don't know.
I don't know what 6 is. The what? The
double hat trick.
I don't know what 6. What's bigger than platinum?
It's like the 8th hitter is a double cleanup man. Second
what is
cleanup
it?
man.
Kryptonite? The kryptonite sombrero? I mean, what is it?
It's a bad night. It's tough.
Barry Bonds, the runner at first base.
Well, he'll steal a base at any time. He doesn't care what the score is or the situation.
23 stolen bases.
He'll pick his spots. Little slide step from Hitchcock. Eliminate the stolen base. Split finger fastball down.
You check out all the scores in our 28-58 updates. Most everything is over, and here is Keith, as we told you, with 28 home runs. Big season for him again. Second big season in a row as a member of the Giants. Feet of Barry Bonds. Feet that have made him the only man that has hit 400 home runs and has stolen 400 bases in the Major League history. Accomplished that just 10 days ago, did Barry. A good pitch by Hitchcock. We'll talk more about this in the next at bat, but 400 plus homers, 400 plus stolen bases. No one else has done it. That, to say the least, is impressive. Kind of lost in all the home run, McGuire and Sosa, understandably so. But McGuire and Bonds hitting their 400th home runs this year. 27 have done it. 500 means a lot to Barry. I've talked about talked about that with him many times. Right now, they're worried about his feet. We get something going with Kent at 1 and 2, Hitchcock will keep an eye on. Barry has never been to the World Series, been MVP 3 out of 4 years. And in the postseason, plenty. Never gotten that shot. There he goes. Swung on a miss by Kent. It's academic. 2 strikeouts this inning for Sterling Hitchcock, who has really settled down. We head to the bottom of the 3rd here in San Diego. 2-0 Padres.
Sunny morning, fresh air is calling. I just love my street. The grass is dewy, the trees are bloomy. Just can't be beat. Hello, neighbor. Smiling faces, wonderful places. Smiling faces.
Hey, pull me back. Ooh, that feels pretty good. What's this stuff? I'm not going there. No way. Forget about it. Hey, come on. I got an image to uphold here.
If you want the best, come to your Sherwin-Williams store. It's the only place to get Sherwin-Williams paint.
Oh, yeah. Now that's the good stuff, baby.
When only the best will do. Ask Sherwin-Williams.
Hey, good looking. Want to go for...
ESPN Wednesday Night Baseball is brought to you by 989 Studios, the new leader in sports video games.
Chris Berman along with Kevin Kennedy here at Qualcomm Stadium, a.k.a. the Big Q, a.k.a. the Murph. The Padres, 2 runs in the 1st inning, 1 coming in a solo shot by Steve Finley, his 14th. They and Sterling Hitchcock lead the San Francisco Giants 2-0 here in the bottom of the 3rd. Shawn Estes delivers. Andy Sheets a ground ball to his second base counterpart Jeff Kent. 1 up, 1 down. Of course, baseball tonight. As the Homer watch continues, will McGuire get 70? Will Sammy Sosa answer? Will he get 65? Will Junior get to 61? Will Greg Vaughn get to 61? Midnight tomorrow night, Eastern. Baseball tonight. They're there for you every night, and I can tell you honestly, with everyone involved with that show, from those on the air to the producers to those behind the scene, it's a labor of love. These folks love baseball. I ought to know because I work with them. And I can't wait to show you what they've seen all day. Caminetti fouls the first pitch back.
Caminetti started Andy Sheets off with his changeup. I think it's the first one he's thrown tonight. Got that little ground ball. Outstanding pitch for the ground out. Get the first out of the inning. Estes. Shawn Estes on the mound.
Now, Estes has given up the home run to Finley, then walks got him in trouble and resulted in the second run in the first was on a ground out by Jim Leyritz. Finley hit the ball well. And Rivera led off the second inning of the homer, so by retiring Sheets, it's the first time he's retired the leadoff batter.
Good breaking ball. Just like the break on it, just from top to bottom. 12-6 if you have a clock. I mean, that falls right off the table. Just doesn't have the location quite yet in the field for it, but the stuff is good. The break is good.
Supposing you're digital, you don't have a clock, then how do you describe it?
You listen to us.
That's why we're here.
Imagine rolling a ball off your kitchen table and letting it fall right off.
There you go.
That's what the curveball does. Change up. A little tail to it.
Who had the best curve balls? I mean, I would always go to Blyleven at some point.
Don Sutton.
Don Sutton. The ones that could absolutely drop off the table. Who else? Well, I mean, there are many.
Tommy Gordon. Boston's got a great overhand curve. Really does. Fastball, curveball. Right over the top. Shawn Estes from the side. Big leg kick, leading with the hips. Drive with the legs. Pretty good. A little recoil on that front leg when he landed there. And that'll cause you to keep the ball up.
Outside to Caminetti. He's walked him for the second time tonight. Remember, Caminetti walked and went to second on another walk, stole third and scored on that Leyritz ground out. And that'll bring up the MVP candidate of the Padres, Greg Vaughn. Now, the Padres have run away in the West with Vaughn's 47 home runs, etc. But let me ask you something. I know the Cardinals aren't going anywhere, and we have yet to see what Sosa ends up with. Given that McGuire has now broken the record, Kevin, and Sammy may also, and supposing the Cubs don't make it, you kind of think that it's got to be McGuire.
Yeah.
Who would you vote for?
I would co-MVPs. I hope it's Sosa and McGuire both. I think Sosa should be right there with them, no matter what he ends up with or what he's done this year for baseball. Both guys.
However, neither may make the postseason, and here's Greg Vaughn has led his team.
Doesn't matter. I know Moises Alou in Houston's having a great year. But what these guys have done for baseball in general, bringing the fans back, the young fans, female fans, old fans, it's just great for baseball. I just think both guys deserve it. I really do.
Is that the MVP, though? I would vote for them. I'm not disagreeing with you. It's just an interesting thought as we watch Greg Vaughn and a 1-1.
Cal Ripken won an MVP, and Baltimore finished in last place years ago. How'd he do that?
Dawson did it once with the Cubs. I would vote for them, but it just brings up, do they have to redefine it? Which is not what we're trying to solve.
Why should they be punished, St. Louis? Because they've had poor pitching or injured pitching the start of the year. Why should McGuire be punished? He's just brought people out, and he's done it on the field under a lot of pressure, and probably a lot more pressure than Sammy Sosa has had.
Well, I'm not doubting it. Just food for thought.
Yeah, that's my opinion.
No, I agree with you. Hey, here's a Rookie of the Year and MVP. Fred Lynn, San Diego's own. Had a pretty fair run in Boston and then elsewhere. Oh, he looks like he can still play. That he's always in shape. Tennis partner of our producer, Jay Cutlow. Oh, there's a launcher. Back it goes to left. Back. Gone! Greg Vaughn just 2 homers away from 50 himself. A 2-run shot makes it 4-0 Padres.
Well, Dusty Baker has been worried about the location of Shawn Estes' pitch. Setting up inside. The ball is left out over the middle of the plate. Full extension from Greg Vaughn. Watch the location. He missed. He tried to come inside on Vaughn. Did not. He missed right out over the plate and up. Greg Vaughn knew it as soon as he made contact.
As we said, there's a candidate for MVP, Greg Vaughn.
Well, him and Moises. He and Moises Alou both should be right in. Moises had a great year in Houston as well. But I still say McGuire and Sosa.
Chopper up the middle. It's going to be a base hit for Jim Leyritz.
Talked a minute ago and saw the delivery of Shawn Estes from the side with a little recoil I was talking about.
First baseman.
That's why he keeps the ball up. Got to finish his pitches, land on the bent front leg, and get the ball down.
There's one of our favorites, Nate Colbert. Left in the dust by this season with Greg Vaughn. Of course, Caminiti broke Colbert's club mark 2 years ago. And Cammy is watching as Vaughn approaches 50. So what about McGuire, Sosa, Griffey, and now maybe Greg Vaughn? Never before have there been more than 2 guys in the same year with 50 homers, and we're very close to 4. Okay, he may be watching now, although I'm sure he's so exhausted. But before he goes to bed, if he's getting a game in Cincinnati tonight, instead of just congratulations to Mark McGuire, how about thanks? Just for everybody who loves baseball. Hey, Mark and Sammy too. Thank you from all of us.
Chris, I was there Monday. Charlie Steiner and I did that first game on radio, ESPN radio, on Monday, the Labor Day game. Standing ovation in his first at bat. It gave me chills as a broadcaster and as a fan of the game, and then he hit the home run to tie the record.
I love the standing ovation they gave Sosa in St. Louis.
Absolutely.
They're great there. I
just fans. Great.
And I got to know Mark his rookie year in '87. And, of course, I did all those games on the West Coast when Oakland was so great in 90 and 91. But 91 was Mark's year when he bottomed out at 201. We had lunches a couple of times. And one thing I knew about him then was that he never got too down when things were going really poorly. He never got too high when things were going great. Like when he had 49 home runs his rookie year in '87. And it's that never too high and never too down, and one of the many great characteristics of him, which helped carry him through this year. And heck, it's helped made him hit a 50 home run plus the last 3 years. And it's something we all can take a lesson from. Well, the way Mark handles both great success and professional trouble.
Here's the thing about Mark McGwire, a guy that can walk 135, 140 times. He might walk, who knows, 150 plus times. He's got a great eye at the plate. He doesn't swing at bad pitches. Most power hitters you think of, well, they're going to strike out a lot more than they walk. He doesn't do that. It's about a 1-to-1 ratio. And that's like a Barry Bonds. It makes Barry so effective.
I really believe good things happen to good people. And what you're seeing with Mark McGwire is proof in the pudding of that statement. So again, thank you, Mark, for everyone, from everyone that loves baseball and those who maybe are starting to understand that this is a great game.
Side note, talking about walks with McGwire, he didn't hit one home run on a 3-0 count. That tells you what discipline he has, because you know he's got the green light 3-0.
I think everyone will remember where they were yesterday, Kevin, when he hit that home run. I was getting my bags at baggage claim at Lindbergh Field here in San Diego, unfortunately, so I thank goodness for ESPN. I can watch it 8,000 times afterwards.
Now the Giant bullpen is.
Yeah, this has not been a good inning for Shawn Estes. The 2-run homer, the single to Leyritz, walk to Joyner, and now Ruben Rivera up. And, you know, Ron Peronowski is going to take the slow walk to the mound because in a 4-0 game, you still have a shot. You start to make it 6-7 runs, and you start thinking about what time you're revving up that plane at Lindbergh and going home.
It's the command, absolutely. No doubt about it. There's nothing wrong with the velocity of his pitches. His fastball still at 91. Got a pretty sharp curveball. He's only thrown a couple of changeups tonight. But when you've been out 6 to 7 weeks, this is only his second start back since coming off the disabled list. You're just not going to have the command and the location of your pitches. That's what Dusty was worried about.
2 base runners with just 1 out here. Leyritz at second, Joyner at first, and Ruben Rivera, who singled, infield single his first time up, has a chance to really do some more damage. Giants looking for the double play ball from Estes. He starts Rivera off with a strike.
Look at the break of that curveball. You say, well, we can't be down 4-0. He's got a great overhand curve.
Rivera has played a lot. You know, winning on the DL, just came off it about a week ago. Now he's not going to go on the DL because it's meaningless after September 1st. But he's out 7 to 10 days with the thumb injury. And so Ruben Rivera will get a lot of time in right. A pretty much platoon with Mark Sweeney, who's swinging a much better bat now. Sweeney, the left-handed stick, will go against the right-handers. They really struggled this year in the first half, but Sweeney hitting for power lately. So I think that's the way Bochy will play it. Swing and a miss. 1-2.
There's a fastball, 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Best one he's thrown so far. But up and out of the zone. Rivera chases it. Ruben Rivera is one of Bruce Bochy's favorite players as far as defense. Great outfielder.
Good pitch on the outside corner. Freezes Rivera. There are 2 outs now for Chris Gomez.
That was great location.
Number 10.
At the knees and on the black. Strike 3 looking.
You got to talk to Ron Peronowski more often.
Well, he got through that ball. I mean, he finished that ball a little bit better. He bent that front leg when it lands. You got to land on the bent front leg to get through the ball and get the ball down. If you land on a stiff front leg, your body's going to come up, the ball's going to come up. Ronnie, of course, is a great sinker ball pitcher in his day. Peronowski.
Chris Gomez.
Chris, you got to watch out for. He likes those little get it over curveballs, and he'll slap it into right center.
Ball gets away from Johnson. That was interesting because Joyner was headed to second, but Leyritz was not heading to third. That was almost ordinary.
And you're pretty much tied on your secondary lead, which is the lead after the ball is delivered to bounce off, and as soon as you see it in the dirt, especially a curve, to take off. Leyritz elects to stay right there. There's his secondary lead. As soon as the ball's in the dirt, Leyritz throws. However, Joyner was taken off. Those are some things you practice in spring training. You practice getting jumps off balls in the dirt.
All hit pretty well to right field, but Ellis Burks is there. So the Padres do get a couple on number 48 for Greg Vaughn. Long ball tonight from some of the big-name Padres have put them in control 4-0.
Tim Salmon way back. Look out. Rock pile. It's on the rock pile. Salmon's 25th of the year. 2-run shot. Angels need a win to stay 2-up on Texas. They're up 4-2 in the bottom of the third.
Billy, obviously Salmon swimming upstream there on that home run. Right? It's about the time of the year where this is happening.
How did I know you would say that?
The Angels trying to spawn a win here tonight and stay 2-up on Texas. Again, they play each other 5 times in the last couple of weeks, so that should be settled head-to-head. They don't finish against each other, but it's 2 in Texas and 3 in Anaheim early in each of the respective next weeks. I think the Texas series actually Wednesday, Thursday next week. Giants trying to come from behind. They've done it often. But they've dug themselves a heck of a hole. And Charlie Hayes, Joe Carter, and Rich Aurilia will try and get something going against Sterling Hitchcock. Right to Caminetti, across to Joyner, 1 out. Hitchcock has given up just the leadoff single to Stan Javier, and that's been it. He did walk 2 in the first inning. Boy, that Giants had the bases loaded, Kevin, in the first, and got nothing to show for it.
And of the 10 outs so far, he's got 5 ground ball outs, 4 strikeouts, and the 1 pop-up to catcher Jimmy Leyritz. So he is keeping the ball down. That last pitch was an off-speed, like a split-fingered fastball that he got Charlie to roll over on again. Starts with that cutter we talked about. Jimmy Leyritz likes to call that first pitch cutter, and that's what that was to Joe Carter.
Joe Carter pops. A major league pop-up. Is there room for Leyritz? Yes, there is. 2 outs. Although it doesn't matter, the Padres actually came into this pregame series. If they swept the Giants, they could have won the division in this series. Last 10 games, the Giants have played better. But in San Francisco, the last 3 days couldn't get any better for them. They were 4 out after Saturday night. Now they're 1 out starting today's play, but the Mets and Cubs have both won, and so if they lose this game, and really, they would be thrilled in the overall picture, Kevin, to come in and win 2 of 3 in San Diego. However, they would fall 2 back behind.
What hurt them is losing Friday night and Saturday
in L.A.
The
games they did not play well at all.
They came back and won on Sunday, but only won 1 out of those 3.
The Padres have not been swept here all year. The Padres, who have lost 3 in a row, they've lost 3 in a row for only the 2nd time all year. They're the only club in the majors not to have a losing streak of more than 3. That includes the Yankees. And to put in perspective what the Giants have done in the first 2 games, there's one of the newest Padres, John. All in all, it's just another brick in the Vanderwall coming over from Colorado. You know, until Monday, the Padres were, and that's hit by Aurilia, a nice 1-hopper by Caminetti. Fired across the joint. The Padres are 14-0 in the division at home until Monday night. They're looking like that club right now. Sharp play by Caminetti. They lead it 4-0. Two-run shot to Greg Vaughn. Solo homer to lead the game to Steve Finley. And he will pitch to his opposite, Hitchcock, followed by Finley and Andy Sheets.
Well, this could very well be Shawn Estes' last inning of work because he's due to hit second in the 5th inning. He's down 4 runs already. His pitch count is at 68. And as I said earlier, Dusty has a 90 pitch count limit, basically, if Shawn Estes is throwing free and easy. So this could be the last inning of work tonight for Shawn.
Sterling Hitchcock sacrificed his first time up. Hitchcock on the year hitting at 136. Went from the Yankees to Seattle as part of that huge Tino Martinez trade a couple of years ago, and was traded for Scott Sanders from Seattle down here last year. Sanders eventually has come back, so the guy for whom he was traded is now a teammate. This happens more often these days than it did maybe a generation ago.
Wow.
Count is full now to Hitchcock.
Pretty good location. That's where he wants to throw the ball. Knee high and on the corner. Didn't get the call.
Fouls it off. Hitchcock is not a big guy. He is 6'1", 192, although he seemed a little smaller than that, from Brandon, Florida. 27 years of age. And look at this. Bonds did not get it. He drops one in front of Barry Bonds in left field. So it's been his night. Barry looking up, saying, oh, maybe I didn't see it quite in those lights. It was right about a little flare like that is right around in that little bank of lights there.
Well, Barry was playing shallow. Had him played correctly, but he's battling the lights. That's exactly why he slowed up and had that turn there. I'm sure he lost the ball again in these lights. He's complained of that in the past here in San Diego. Lights are a little bit lower here than most ballparks.
Off-speed pitch to Steve Finley. This is the way it is. It's not like a big rectangle here. It's right. This sort of lights. And that ball was about that height from where Bonds is looking. Actually, he was looking up in the lights about where that camera was located.
Well, that's why he turned and slowed up there, because he lost it and was hoping to get lucky to catch the ball. Otherwise, he would have just kept running full bore and would have caught it off his ankle.
One time Yogi Berra dropped a pop-up or something, it was years ago, and he said, well, you know, what happened? We couldn't have lost it in the moon. It was many years ago. That quote I always remembered that.
I guess you would. Shawn Estes from the stretch position. Got the big leg kick, leads with the hip. See when he lands that front leg. See the recoil right there? See how the knee buckled? That's what's keeping the ball up for him.
Kent, Aurelia, not in time to Carter. They could not turn the two on a pretty quick running Steve Finley.
Steve Finley, 10 stolen bases, caught 3 times this year. Left-handed hitter. He gets out of the box well. Running hard through the bag. Keeps it by a half step.
So Finley on at first with 1 out for Andy Satin Sheets. Sheets playing second base as Kilby Olveras hurt his right shoulder. Estes gives him some gas. Sheets late on it. Strike 1. Corey Bailey now throwing in the Giant bullpen again, along with Danny Darwin, who has been an important starter for the Giants much of this year. But with Estes back now, Darwin goes to the pen, as they're pretty much going with the youngster Russ Ortiz right now in the 5th slot.
Well, ironically, the Giant bullpen is tops in the major leagues as far as earned run average at 308. So that's been one of the Giants' strengths.
Well, there's the closer, who is about as good as it gets. Rob the Flying Nen. And isn't it ironic that he's now a teammate in San Francisco with Jose Mesa, Last year, when Florida played Cleveland, these were the two pitchers on the mound in the 9th inning of the 7th game. Estes throws it over the head of Aurelia on a certain double play ball. Javier's throw is not in time, and it's a disaster for San Francisco. A double play ball that now may as well go as a double.
And part of that is not being on the mound, being off the mound for 7 weeks. Got to go through a little spring training, a little defense, little pitcher's fielding practice, routine double play ball, and a changeup, a one-hopper. Got to set up. He throws kind of 3-quarter, and you just got to throw right to the bag, and the shortstop will be there instead of trying to lead him. And that's what Shawn tried to do. He saw Aurelia on the run, and that ball sailed on him. Flannery coaching third base, making sure Finley gets down. And on the throw to third base, Sheets gets into second.
The always active Tim Flannery. And now Caminetti slugs it down the line, but it is a foul.
Well, there is no doubt that Shawn Estes is rusty in a lot of areas, and we just saw a fielding play that's routine for most major league pitchers. She can't take it for granted.
Infield playing in on the grass to try and choke off the 5th run. And boy, you're third base or at shortstop with Caminetti up on the right side of the plate, and that, you know, you're thinking about goalie masks, aren't you?
Yes. Get the catcher's gear out.
This is a tough spot.
He's got a base
trying to
open.
choke this off. Yeah, but Vaughn's up next, so he might have them all open if he puts Caminetti on and pitches to Vaughn.
Well, he's got to go for a strikeout. You got nothing to lose now. You're down 4 runs. You can't give in to Caminetti, even though Vaughn's on deck. You've got to go for the strikeout with pitches like he just threw, that overhand curveball, and see if Cammy will chase it. You can't let him open up the ball game with a fastball middle in.
Good pitch. Now, at times, he comes right in, and like he did Rivera one at bat, and now Caminetti.
Yeah, he chased it. He went for a fastball down in the dirt. That's a good pitch by Shawn Estes. He threw it out of the zone. Cammy anxious to drive some runs in. He chases a fastball down for strike 3. Good selection and good sequence by Shawn Estes.
His sequence against Greg Vaughn the last time was not as impressive as Vaughn launched homer number 48. A 2-run shot, and that ball was dead over the middle of the plate, belt high.
Not so much the sequence, he just missed location. He was trying to go he's trying to go way in on Vaughn in the last at bat, and he missed out over the plate. So they're not even going to mess with him.
No. Vaughn will walk, and that'll load the bases for Jimmy Leyritz, who you just saw. There's the giant brain trust there. You see Gene Kleins, Ron Peronowski, Sonny Jackson, all on the bench along with Dusty Baker, hoping that Estes can just tiptoe out of here. Alvin Mormon is the left-hander, along with Bailey, the righty.
It's early enough that the Giants down 4 runs. They can come back in this ballgame. As you mentioned, Chris, they do quite often. So this is a key out of the game. This is the biggest out so far of this ballgame, what this hitter does. And that's why Dusty looks like he's coming out.
He may just go to the righty Bailey and then pinch hit for him immediately.
Yeah, he knows this is the biggest out of the game. If Leyritz gets a base hit, it's blown open. If he gets him out, you can still chip away, get 2 in the 5th, and come back, make this a close ball game.
Pitching change as the Padres have the sacks full, leading 4-0. Jim Leyritz to try to put this game out of reach when we return.